So it's beautiful to listen to our children talk about the African Union, the model African Union. But I ask you children to take it a little bit further. It doesn't end with just a conversation about corruption in Africa. The bigger corruption in Africa is coming from outside. Try flying low over the DRC. You're going to see tarmacs in the middle of the jungle. You're going to see 747s flying into the DRC, picking up minerals and flying right outside the country. Do you think those multinationals are going to want to see peace in the DRC? Do you think they're going to want to see peace in South Sudan? No. A stable Africa is an Africa that cannot be exploited. So they will see to it that there will never be peace in Africa by any means necessary, unless you come to the table and do something about it. For a continent that doesn't have a single gun manufacturing company, we simply have endless supply of guns. How? How is this okay that Africa continues to be exploited to this extent? How is it okay that the world has watched as France is taking cold, hard cash out of Africa? How is this okay? I want to know. United Nations, answer that. Secretary General Guterres, answer that. When you all meet every year in New York, what are you talking about? That is our reality as Black people. And only we can change that. Yes. I am very encouraged by the president of Benin. He has put in a formal request for all the bank reserves his country has deposited with France. So to France I say, we are watching you, France. There better not be a coup in Benin, because that is your modus operandi. There better not be any instability in Benin, because that is your modus operandi. I'm hoping that the rest of the West African countries, quote unquote, former French colonies, can also demand a refund of their deposits. Africa is on the move. Let's join hands. Let's support those countries in what they have started. And since I'm standing here in a historical Black college, that education and understanding is start with you, our youth. This is a fight that I know very well that we will not be able to finish. But golly, we want to make sure that you understand fully what is going on. So when we pass the baton, you understand the issues. No more shall we continue to be ignorant. Our eyes are open. We know our Africa. We are going to reconnect with our roots. African Americans, you must understand there is a void that is deep in each and everyone's subconscious. It is a void that affects everything you do. First, you must understand you have that void. In this country, with the exception of the American Indians, everybody is a foreigner. And everybody has their roots outside the United States. And the rest of the races are connected to their roots, with the exception of the African Americans. You're too busy running away from your roots. You're busy denying who you are. Well, guess what? It is what it is. You are an African, and Africa is home. And the sooner you wake up and realize and accept that Africa is home, the sooner you are going to fill that void. For as long as that voice is in you, you're always going to be like a ship without an anchor. The wind blows this way, here you go. The wind blows the other way, here we go. Find your base. Go home. Africa is where you belong. And Africa is where your roots are. Thank you. But as I began to make a diagnosis, I analyzed the situation, and my final assessment was that the ignorance that the world has about Africa is the disease that I must fight. So I set out to have a plan, and I began implementation. Because it is only when that disease is treated, it is only then and only then can we embark on a true healing path for Africa and her children. I'm going to ask you one question. If I were to ask you right now, all of you, what color is the devil? I want you to answer that question to yourself. And I'm going to pause for 2 seconds. Let me guess. Most of you said black, didn't you? Then I'm going to ask you another question. What color are the angels? Let me guess. Most of you said white. Who has seen either? And yet we accept it. So you take a group of people, you say the color black is associated with the devil. Everything bad is black. You wear black to go to funerals. The villains in the movies are black. Everything undesirable is black. You take a group of people and say, you too are black. No matter how we try as black mothers to raise our children at home and tell them you're black and you're beautiful, the minute they step foot outside that door, they are immersed in nothing but negativity about that which they represent. How do you raise a child with good self-esteem in such a world? Then I took it back a step further. You see, growing up in my village in Zimbabwe, the British did not come to Zimbabwe until 1896. Prior to that, we had our own gods that we worshipped. We had spirit mediums who were our intermediaries to the higher power. They had no color until the British arrived. Then the British began to, you can remember the missionaries were sent to Africa to teach us how to read